Hey, it's Dorleen and I'm working on a layout today. So you just saw me pointing out these cuts that I have in the middle of this paper. Now this paper is a very unique orange color, and I know I'm going to put that 11 by 11 off-white sheet on top. So that's why I decided to gut this. And when I made my cuts on my Cricut, I cut out some images in the middle of this because I knew it wasn't going to show and I wanted them to coordinate with my layout. So that's a really great way to save paper, especially if, like I said, it's a unique color, or maybe the last color that you have or paper you have of that color, or like a pattern paper or something. You don't always need to use a full sheet. Now, because both of these papers are cardstock, it's still pretty thick, so I wouldn't have to worry about it being too flimsy. And it also cuts back on some of that thickness too if I would have kept them layered on top of each other. Now these strips of green are just scraps that I've used within my kind of hiking outdoorsy layouts, and I just cut random widths, but they're all 9-inch length, and I kind of went sort of an ombre. You can tell I started really dark and then I end up really light, and I'm using my T-square ruler just to put them down. And I've said this before, if you are a subscriber of mine, you know, I feel like no matter what I do, nothing is ever straight. But when I put those down, I felt pretty confident. I don't know if it's just my eyes or maybe because I'm really not feeling well. You can tell by my stuffed nose. I apologize. But I think these turned out pretty straight, which I'm shocked. So once I put those all down, I'm pretty happy with that. And I have this other piece of off-white that I'm putting over it, but I realized that it just really blended into that 11 by 11 sheet. So I grabbed some, I think it's called creamy caramel or something like that, ink. It's very light tan ink. And I just grabbed my little sponge and I'm sponging around the edges. Now, if I would have known I was edging or inking the edges, oh my goodness, on that paper, I probably would have done it on the other sheet, but it wasn't important enough for me to try to do it and try to rip it up and blah, 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 blah. So it's fine the way it is and I'm good with it. So I do like that because it does stand out now against the other off-white paper. So I am using this one photo plus a postcard, and I do that all the time too. When we travel, I always buy a postcard because I use them in my scrapbooks for this particular reason, like another photo. Sometimes you can use them as a title or an embellishment just to emphasize your story. And sometimes postcards will have the perfect shot of something that you just can't get. So those are always really good to buy as well. But anyhow, so I'm using it here in place of a photo. And then the one photo that's on that bottom, I actually am going to use a flip flap so that will hold to one other photo, plus I'm going to put my journaling in there. So I'm not concentrating on where I'm putting journaling because I'm not doing it on the layout front, if that makes sense. So anyhow, I hope you like what I'm doing so far. It's really just kind of a hodgepodge of items. Those cuts that I'm showing you right now and that I'm putting together right now were all from the Cricut. I think I ended up having to search for, I can't remember if it was either Southwest or American Indian, which was, no, not American, Native American, which was weird. I couldn't get those images really any other way. So sometimes you just have to know what to search for. There's like thousands and thousands of images in Cricut Design Space, which is awesome. But if you don't search correctly, you don't get them all the time. But I selected a few that I really liked, and then I cut them out, like I said, in these in that off orange. That's the base. Also like this kind of a honey yellow, which I love. That really pretty blue. And then I think I just use more of that off-white and black. I really like this little cut here, which I don't end up using on this layout, but I will use it on a coordinating layout because I have a lot of pictures, as you can imagine. Sedona is a beautiful place, and I didn't want anything to really take away from the photos, but of course we always need embellishments and some fun stuff, right? So anyhow, I'm adhering that down. Everything's looking great. I like the way it's going so far. You're going to see me fussing with those little die cuts for a while because I'm just not 100% sure where they're going. I am positive that Wish You Were Here is going to be in that lower left, but the other ones I'm just kind of playing. But so far I like it, so I'm going to start adhering like the pictures, well, postcard and picture, and some of these things down. So just a reminder, I do post at least 2 videos a week. One will always be scrapbooking, the other may be scrapbooking, or it could be whatever it is I'm creating in the command center. And the command center is the name of my blog and also my craft room. So excuse me, I'm actually not feeling well this week, but I didn't want to not post things, so I did this one real quick, and this was a really super quick layout, mostly because it didn't involve a lot of, like I said, titles and journaling and things, because I knew that was going to be in the flip flap. But once you get your Cricut cuts, that kind of makes things a little bit easier. So you saw me right there. I kind of cut that. I'm going to say pie. So, and the only reason why I did that is because I just wanted to avoid more thickness in that top left corner. So this is what I'm looking at so far. I think I like it. It looks good. But if you've also a subscriber of mine, great. And if you're not, please hit that subscribe button down below. But one of the things that I always seem to fall back on is I like to do a lot of outlining. So I'm doing that in the little off-white within that, I'm going to call it the title. And then also in the off-white pieces, the squared, or not square, rectangle. Well, this one's a rectangle, the other one's a square. So I just like that. It's very simple, hand drawn. I'm not too worried about it being super straight. If I get really off, I'll just do like a little X or like a little scribble, so it almost looks like a loose thread, if you want to call it that. That's what it looks like to me anyways. But it also helps you think, oh, okay, that wasn't an accident. That was done on purpose. There's always ways to cover up your mistakes, right? But anyhow, like I said, I hope you do like it. I think it's really fun. It was really quick. I was able to use a lot of scraps and make use of some paper that I wouldn't have had coordinate otherwise. But thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you later. Bye.